All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, GMS, who grew well. Peace and salutations to the like Akim on the four corners, pushing the truth with sincerity. Peace be unto you. Now, this is the update about the government shutdown. Being watchers, doesn't just mean you just watch and report just bad stuff. You also, like when you watching, you looking out, on a tower, you see, oh, the enemy coming or they going, so you report good news and, bad news, and really this ain't even good news. It just appears to be good news. It's basically the government is open, but there's a catch-22 to it as well. The catch-22 to this is that it's only temporary open. And before I get into this, I wanted to elaborate more about this good news, bad news, because it's a balance in this thing. And dealing, because the thing about this is we're in the truth. And when you're in the truth, you got to deal with truth. And it's hard to put truth and politics at the same damn sentence at the same damn time. But you have to basically report on what's being reported. And there's reports that the government shut down. Then there's reports that the government's open. You don't want to just, because if it's reports that the government's been open and if you're in the truth and you're dealing with truth, then you have to deal with, what's being reported, as the government being reopened, which is open in the sense of they're, going to have those workers go back to work and, they're going to get paid and stuff like that. So that part of the bullshit of politics, we know that that's true, that they're going to get, they're going to get their paycheck, whether they get back pay, whatever stuff that's neither here nor there. But you want to be able to also discern from good, Salakia. You also want to be able to discern bullshit from truth, because when you first waking up in this truth, you jump on any bit of bad news. And yeah. Oh, the world's about to end. Oh, Yahweh about to come right now. You jump on, any bit of, Syria, they just bombed Syria. After a while, when you become seasoned in this thing, you don't just report on, okay, there's bombing in Syria, but you also, understand, okay, there's a ceasefire also reported maybe a few months later or whatever. So you get the balance. When you start thinking, just on one mind frame, such as, it's escalating, but you're not paying attention to when it's de-escalating, that can, throw you off balance. You win this truth. You got to deal with, the truth. As much bullshit as politics there is out here, you got to try your best to deal, with that bullshit and try to see through it and be able to discern, okay, is this escalating? Is it de-escalating? Because Yahweh Shai gave us signs of the times. And we're supposed to be able to read the signs of the times. And, so, it's talking about there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, and all types of stuff like that. So you got to be able to, as watchmen, you got to be able to look, because you're not specifically looking for bad stuff. You're looking. When you're security guard, you're not just, of course you're looking for threats. That's what you're ultimately looking for. But you're looking and observing the whole playing field. Of course there's certain stuff you're not going to pay attention to, like a cockroach runs across the fucking windowsill or something like that. But you want to be observative of everything that pertains, to, well, first pertains to our salvation. So, whether it's, good news or bad news, or good news masquerading as bad news, or bad news masquerading as good news or what have you, we just want to pay attention to, everything. And also understanding that, you know, there's going to be times where Esau's going to report on shit like this, you know, to give, you know, America, Babylon, a false sense of hope, you know, because going back to what I was saying earlier, you know, you wake up in this truth, you think the world going to end, you know, tomorrow. And that's a good spirit to be in, honestly, when you wake up, you know, because you got that urge to want to, you know, eat this roll and just eat it and just eat, you know, you become seasoned after a while, you know, when become seasoned as, you know, you hear stuff like, the stock market is going to collapse and on 7/7/2017 or some shit like that. And then, you know, they have all these, you know, conspiracy videos on doing all sorts type of maths. Then you just got, you know, thinking, oh man, it was really about to happen in 7/7/2017. And then all of a sudden nothing happens. And then, you know, you got so worked up and what man said that you forget, you know, to look at what the scriptures say, and also using your own judgment as well. But this is going to this government shutdown. It says the House and Senate passed bill to reopen government, sending it to Trump for his signature. It says the House and Senate both approved a measure Friday, which is today, January 25th, reading on to temporarily reopen the federal government with a short-term spending bill that does not include President Donald Trump's requested $5.7 billion for a border wall. Now, this is the part where I say it's good news, bad news, Slakia. Good news, but it's really bad news. You know, they basically, you know, you ever go to a hospital or when you was a kid or something happened, let's say you get a major gash in your arm or your leg, or matter of fact, I got a scar below my knee, you know, that's permanent. You know, I had that since I was a kid. Bed spring popped up and cut my leg. Now, let's say you get a gash, somebody stabs you for a sec, and let's say it hits a major artery. Now, if you put a Band-Aid over it, that ain't shit. I mean, in fact, you can, you know, put a towel on it, you know, to try to stop the bleeding, but you got to get the proper help for, you know, the proper, you know, aid, you know, because this is basically a Band-Aid, you know, over a shotgun wound, you know, and this ain't even shit. Reading on, it says a short-term spending bill that does not include President Donald Trump's requested $5.7 billion for a border wall, because this is basically what's stopping him from negotiating with, you know, the House and the Senate. Is he's saying, hey, you want my $5.7 billion for a border wall, and you know they, you know, giving him, you know, this run around saying, okay, we give you $5.7 billion, but it ain't for a wall, and all types of back and forth shit. And another thing I want to say about this bullshit politics, they be writing these bills up. They be containing like 1,000, 2,000 fucking pages. You think anybody about to sit down and read that shit? Hell no, nobody reading that shit. So they sit down, type up a fucking book. That's basically what they fucking doing. Typing up a book, have all type of different proposals in it, and sneaking stuff in and sneaking stuff out and reproposing this, and then he writes one, and then they write one, and they both sit down and don't read the shit and skim and scam and say, oh, we reject this, oh, we reject this. Because some of the times, I forgot what day it was. It was some day within the past 7 days. Matter of fact, I think it was the day that President Donald Agent Orange Trump had a speech last Saturday. And he was basically saying at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he was basically lining an outline of what he expected out this government bill. And they shut it down right afterwards. Like not even 12 hours later. And now he had just basically gave a summary of the bill. But if they had a bill, that motherfucker believe that bill was damn near 1,000 pages. And so that goes to show that they don't read that shit. It should just be, shit is just fucking theater. Okay, let me read. It says the measure, a 3-week stopgap spending bill that would reopen shuttered parts of the government through February the 15th now heads to the president's desk for his signature. Once it is signed by the president, it will put an end to the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Congressional approval of the measure came quickly after the president conceded earlier Friday to mounting pressure over the ongoing shutdown, agreeing to a temporary funding measure that would allow federal employees to return to work that does not include the billions of dollars in border wall funding he spent the last month demanding. I will sign a bill to open our government for 3 weeks, the president said in an address on Friday, saying that he was announcing that we have reached a deal to end the shutdown. Trump said that a bipartisan conference committee of House and Senate lawmakers and leaders will work to put together a Homeland Security package for me to shortly sign into law. Over the next 21 days, I expect that both Democrats and Republicans will operate in good faith. Now, history has shown that they haven't, recently, because this new Congress just was sworn in January the 3rd. So this is a whole new Congress. Trump has been shown to be, stubborn and uncompromisable. And he's basically saying he wants this $5.7 billion for build this steel wall, which is ironic because he said, Mexico was going to pay for it. Reading on, it says Democrats have insisted throughout the shutdown that the president should sign a measure to reopen the government before they proceed to a debate on border wall funding. After weeks of resistance, Trump agreed to just that on Friday, paving the way for congressional Democrats and Republicans to approve to a stopgap funding bill. So he caved in. He's a caveman. He's a fucking caveman. The action on Capitol Hill comes after weeks of negotiations largely going nowhere, and it is not yet clear what kind of a deal can be struck between Democrats and Republicans in the weeks to come over border security. Now, I want to say also in the scriptures it says, if Satan be divided against Satan, how can he stand? Satan is out here, fighting against himself, and it's a beautiful thing. And hold on one second. Where are we at? My sword up. Luke. Luke 11 and verse 18. Wait a second. Luke 11 and 17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. And that makes perfect sense, and it's so practical. But you understand, man. Let me finish this thought, because another thought just popped in my mind. But it says every house that divided against it, just like the house of Israel when we were split into being two nations, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And of course we fell. The northern kingdom was warring against the southern kingdom. Then ultimately we losing our power source, Yahweh, falling out of grace with our husband. When we fell from grace, the fine gold became dim. The Most High cast down the beauty of Zion to the earth. Reading on, it says, if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. Now, Satan means adversary in Hebrew. Our adversary is this so-called white man. You got some people of our own nations are adversaries, and they're Satan. But the the title of Satan belongs to this devil, this white man, this serpent. That's who it belongs to. You know, they are truly of their physical fathers, the devil. You know, now what I wanted to say is that I lost thought is because this came to my mind because going through bullshit at work. It says Luke 11:17. This is kind of starting to go away from the government shutdown topic. But it says, but he knowing their thoughts said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. Now at my job, there's so much fucking man. There's so much fucking bullshit going at my job. I started almost to say what line of field I do. I don't even want to say that shit on, camera, on record. But it's people that get in positions of management and they become friends with other people, and then they get their own crew and clique, and then they become rivals with another crew that's in the exact same fucking building. And they're basically fucking divided. It's these people over here and these other people over there, and they fucking trying to get one over on each other and trying to, I want to put all my work on this person, and this person putting all their work on me. They should do this, and trying to change people's job descriptions and all type of shit like that. All the senseless ass politics, and it's divided against itself. When you have two people fighting against each other, and it won't stand. Verse 18, if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? And at my job, and I know it ain't just my job, it's a lot of people's jobs. They fighting and going back and forth with certain people, and you wonder, like, how did management even allow this shit to fucking happen? And that's part because they ain't good at managing. That's why, you got to have the righteous judges, ruling this bitch. And on that note, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who were well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.